Yes, check it out. It's on Amazon.com. Hip Hop and Igbo culture by your faithfully Martin EZEANUMBA, Ekezie. It's on Amazon.com, and our discussion today is going to be about that culture itself. So thank you for joining in. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever you're watching for. Thank you so much for joining. And then like, subscribe, and share. Right, hit the subscribe button right here. You're up. Darling. It's about time. Nebona the 103.5 FM. It's time for us to play the role of ombudsmanship. It's time for us to discuss our challenges as a people. It's time to cause social change in our society. It is time to engage in thought-provoking, discussion that will provoke us, positively to adjust our society to make it right. Now, on this edition, the ways of our forefathers, of the Igbo people, that is the forefathers of the Igbo people, is a pure way. That's, that way they were scared of, committing sacrilege. That is, alo nobodo. Our fathers, the forefathers of the Igbo people, were so scared about committing sacrilege because of the outcome of what it might become. A lot of people they scared of and itigbufa a na-asị na ha mmekwa nke a na nwee ike itigbufa or na nke a yotago. Because of that they stay away from a lot of things that it is that today a na-emewali emewali na-emegi ya even na omenala itself anyị na-eme na pai yotago. Some things say adopt si na-emekasị today bụ ihe ga-abụ ife ndị nna nụfụ na ha na onye a they will run away from it. And that is before we begin to tell, we began to tell the white lie, just the way our colonial masters, taught us. We were truthful people before now. In the olden days, when you were told that someone is Dibia, a native doctor, you know that this person is a priest. So the question about even Ezeanumba, where did it come from? How come? Where is it found in the history of the Igbo people? Those are the questions we are going to ask ourselves today. We are going to dig into the history of the Igbo people, talking about our situation today, to begin to solve, the problems we have today. Yes, good evening. This is how I welcome you to this awesome, wonderful, spirit-filled edition of Street Report on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. I remain the one and only Martin EFEANYICHUKWU, Ekezie, EZEANUMBA the first, the one that I call Metal. It's about to go down. Now, the truth is that a lot of young people are going back to the religion of our ancestors, or Menane, which is said to be, the Uzo Ezoku, Menane Buzo Ezoku report with, what is happening today. Are we going to say, yes, that true, it is the way of truth, just the way it suggests, In the course of this discussion, I must tell you one thing. If you look through the history of the Igbo people, a lot of things, changed over time about our culture from time to time. Because if you listen to Ozemen Sube on the song Agbe BC, he talked about how, masquerade and some other components came from a gala to become Igbo culture at the end of the day. So you see that some things were adopted over time. Now, after the coming of the colonial masters, a lot of other components of our culture began to come, like something like Higabo, Agere, Mmadụ Agere became part, but it is not our culture originally. But today, in some, places in Igbo land, it is adopted. It is part of the culture. Yes, what I'm trying to explain now is that our culture began to evolve. A lot of things began to come into it. It is not exactly the way our fathers practiced it. And that's not the way a lot of people are practicing it today. So that's why we must talk about it, because if you look at it today, it is somehow aiding criminality. Yes, at the same time, it is aiding a lot of things that is not supposed to be. Like if we ask the question, Ezenwany, some people will tell you that ndị Ezenwany na-abụkarị ndị ọrụ okporo. Some people will tell you that n'ile fụ na onye ọbụla bụ eze nwaanyị ị na-ana anya ife ịdị ndụ ọ na-ebi, most of them do na-enwe ike nwee ndị dị mma yọta ndị na-enwere nsogbu na-eme na-asọ nsọ. But today, ask yourself, how many of them na-asọ nsọ ekwu ka a na-asọ? Then how is it also even the culture of Igbo people? Because based on my research, some of these Ihezawani started after the war, after the civil war. But before the civil war, there was no Ezawani anywhere. We didn't hear of that. So in that sense, I'm trying to say that our forefathers were scared of, an itibufa. They were scared of so many things. They were not, anything they want to do, they will tell you, hey, and all of that. They are very careful about what they do. So these, things also guided even the Dibias, the spiritual, that or the spiritualists back in the days, because they also observed ethics, the rules of the society, some things that are not supposed to be done. But today, those things are like major things that we see in our society today, irrespective of the fact that a lot of people are still practicing Omenana, that a lot of people are still into it. But yeah, today, kidnapping is on the rise, robbery, a lot of things. And some of these things are aided by these practices in some way or in one way or the other. Yes, this and more will be the cause of our discussion on this particular edition of a strict report on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. I remain the one and only Martin EFEANYICHUKWU Ekezie, EZEANUMBA the first, the one that I call Metal. Yes, stick around with this one. It's coming from Ozemenan Sube, and he calls this one on Menan. I will be right back after this. Stick around. EBEONADI103.5 FM Ogidi presents Media Talent Hunt and Skill Acquisition Show. Are you an upcoming model, actor, rap, R&B, gospel, reggae, or high life musician? Are you trying to find your footing on social media? Do you want to earn money with talents and skills? Do not look any further. Sign up for EBEONADI103.5 FM Media Talent Hunt and Skill Acquisition Show. Today, you will have the opportunity to learn and become an expert in video coverage, photography, film editing, music production, advertising and social media marketing, content creation, filmmaking, radio drama, magazine production, and many more. Register today at EBEONADI103.5 FM Ogidi opposite Obunike Boys inside European Residency Hotel Ogidi. For more information, call or WhatsApp 080 65 79 6599.
Oh, you never believe you want your Lord way. Go.
Yes, for a fact, Omen and Ada Unkwana. And that's why even in this generation that young people are talking about Omenana, a lot of people are talking about it, getting involved, even to the point that Anambra Catholic priests switched to traditional religion after 17 years of being a priest. But you see that today, self, now Omenana self in some kind of way, they protect Puzi onye metalo insana. If you look at it properly, Yotago. Anyway, this is how I welcome you back to Street Report on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. I remain the one and only Martin EFEANYICHUKWU, Ekezie, EZEANUMBA the first, the one that I call Metal. So if Ozemena Nsugbe is saying that Omenana, demands that when you wrong somebody, that you are supposed to go and plead with the person, how come that the same, practice is now aiding, criminality, is aiding kidnapping and all of that, according to, based on the findings of the governor of Anambra State, Governor Chukwuma Charles Soludo. I just want to refresh your memory about this. Soludo only declared war on fake, devilish native doctors. Commissioner. The Anambra State Commissioner for Information, Law Mefo, has said that the state governor Chukwuma Soludo only declared war on fake and devilish native doctors involved in criminality, such as preparing shams for kidnappers and gunmen. Soludo, during a function in the state, recently declared war on native doctors due to the increasing criminalities in the state, and the declaration generated panic among the native and traditional doctors across the state. In a press statement on Saturday, Mefo said the clarification as regards the governor's stance on native doctors became necessary as to douse the tension and panic it is generating across the state. Mefo said those genuinely practicing the trade have nothing to fear from Soludo's declaration, while insisting that fake native doctors involved in criminal activities must be exposed and brought to justice, just a way of sanitizing the practice. Yes, I want to state something categorically here. Now, if you see any native doctor that always go to radio station to broadcast, about what he is doing, that person is not scared of what might happen. That person knows that what he is doing is not wrong. So if you see anyone coming on to talk about, his own practice, the person knows that whatever he's doing, he is not doing it wrong. But whenever you see one who is running away from the media, there is something fishy about the person. Anyway, I'm just saying. And just the way it was said, it was put into practice as well. Anambra native doctors in turmoil as police go after quacks. There are palpable fears within the ranks of native doctors and traditional medicine practitioners in Anambra State, particularly within the Ojoto community, headquarters of Idemili South Local Council, following the arrest of non-registered and uncertified practitioners. The yet to be identified spiritualists and actors had on Monday, January 6th, gone to strategic locations in the community to perform some rituals against the initial directive of community's traditional ruler, Igwe Gerard Mbamalo. The activities of those unknown spiritualists were, however, truncated midway, or as one of their leaders, identified simply as Ejike Mokwe, was arrested by police operatives from Zone 13, Ugbo. Others, including Emmanuel Okonta, are now said to have taken to their heels, while others retreated the moment news filtered into the community that security operatives had moved in to effect their arrest. Chairman of the Native Medicine Practitioners in Ojoto, Chief Anthony Uzokwe, accused the medicine men of invading the community's sacred shrines and groves, locations, and centers. He added that the characters were unknown to the native doctors, the law, or the community. So, if the practice of Omenani today is done the right way, how come there is also the Ezewani cult? That Ezewani thing, is it part of the Igbo culture? It has become more prominent since the Civil War when spiritual consciousness in Igbo land increased. That's when this Ezewine thing started fully. The Ezewine cult is a women-only spiritual practice in Igbo land that has become more prominent in recent years. The name, like literally, translates to woman king. People join Ezewine cult voluntarily. Other members of the cult initiate new members. What it is like to be a membership in Ezewine cult is exclusive to women. Why is the cult? The cult is okay, and he says, okay, they said why Ezewine is often considered more of a spiritual concept than a person. Her origins trace back to ancient Igbo culture in Nigeria. She is referred as a divine figure embodying leadership, wisdom, and feminine strength. All about Ezewine itself. Now, you should know that it is pertinent to note that the cult of Ezewine is a modern invention of the 30 21st century in the northern Igbo. So it is not, though some people will trace it back to, okay, the history of Igbo people, but at the same time, it is not, an ancient culture of the Igbo people. It is something that started recently, most especially after the Civil War. That's when it became popular amongst Igbo people. So this is proof that a lot of practices that we see in Igbo land today is not even the proper omenana that we are supposed to, embark on. And that's why, you see get to see those support for criminalities, because if omenana is done the right way, it is not supposed to support criminality in any way. That's what it is. And now we know for sure, that the insecurity of the Southeast is fueled by the illicit practices of some native doctors, so who, fortify criminals. And that's why Anambra state government is talking about the registration of native doctors. But the truth must be told. At the same time, I'm not saying that Omenana is wrong. It is the practice of our people. And for me personally, I'm in support that our practice, our culture, our customs and tradition must never die. If Chinese people can preserve their culture even after, British colonization, we as a people, as Igbo people, we are supposed to preserve our own culture as well. But we need to ask ourselves the question: are we doing the right thing? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. Now, the culture of our people is of great importance. That's why Anambra Catholic priests switched to traditional religion after 17 years. Now, former Catholic priest embraces African tradition religion after 17 years in ministry. Dr. Echezona Obiagbo Sogo, a former Catholic priest who served for 17 years, has announced his decision to transition from priesthood to the exploration of African traditional religion. Currently, a lecturer specializing in African traditional religion at Nnamdi Azikiwe University in Oka, Anambra State. Dr. Obiagbo Sogo's journey into this spiritual realm was profoundly influenced by his fascination with traditional African spirituality and the practice of rainmaking. On Wednesday, following the successful defense of his PhD dissertation titled Rainmaking and Control in Igbo African Medicine, he articulated his belief that Africa harbors vast resources and values that have been significantly diminished by colonial influences. Now, I want to point something out. Africa got defeated by its own power too, because if you see during the the transatlantic slave movement, when some of these slaves, some of the slaves that were taken from this location were taken to maybe Badagry, where they will now set out for Europe and all of that. There was a well where they will prepare water and give it to the slaves. From that water, if they get to drink it, that's how the story goes. They get to drink it, they will forget everything about this location before they leave this place. They will forget everything about where they are coming from. That was done by us as well, with the directive of the colonial master, the white man that is now holding us hostage. But at the same time, our people were the people that conjoined that medicine that they will drink now, and they will forget everything about where they are coming from. So our practice, our customs, our tradition is very important, but in when it is used for the wrong thing, it is always chaotic for the society. So that's why it must be monitored, just the way Governor Charles Chukwuma Soludo is saying it and implementing it so far. Yes, we are not saying that Omenana should be scrapped. We are saying that it should be sanitized. People should do the right thing at the end of the day. So, how can we sanitize? The practice in our society. How can we make it better? Kedu ka anyị esi mee ya ka ọ bụrụ na ọ the right thing ka a na-emedebe ka a ghara enwezi yọtago ka ọ dị ka mgbe gboo ya bụ elu onye ọbụla na-eme ama na onye a na-eme the right thing o melọ a na-etigbuo ya ka esi believe wee because that's how we went down then a na-etigbuo mmadụ otu esi wee kwuo ya so how do we make it now a na-etigbuzi mmadụ nke today bụ nwee ike bụ gọọmenti ịkpara onye ahụ aka because na ọ dị eme ife ọ kwesịrị ị na-eme today. At the same time, anyị na-ajụkwa ajụjụ gbasara eze nwanyị ọ bụ part of our practice as Igbo people or ife ekwesịghị na-eme because na from my own research enwere ike nwee ndị ma better than otu a nsị mana from my own research ife m chọpụtara bụ no from immediately after the war ka o ji wee bịa the civil war in Nigeria mgbe ka o ji wee bịa dịba popular ka o ji wee pụtaba but before then after na enwepụrụ ihe dị otu a before and kedu uru ọ na-abalụ our society ihe anyị ma a na-eme ọfụma na be anyị bụ ọdụ nwaanyị gba ọdụ and all of that and anyị ma ka o si help our society even Chinua Achebe went as far as talking about Igbo ọdụ na things fall apart and the way he talked about it it is a society that helps to maintain the ethics of the society helps to that serves as a conscience to the society or so but eze nwaanyị nke a na-ekwuzi is he also serving as a conscience to the society to correct things ekwesịrị na-eme na society. Well, ihe niile bụ ajụjụ anyị na-ajụ on this particular edition of Street Report on EBEONADI 103.5 FM. So olugo mgbe ị ga-abata ka ịgwa anyị filo n'ihe niile anyị na-akpa maka it is very important that we talk about it because it is affecting our society and we must talk about it. So call us on 081 38 39 7740 or 081 39 25 6742. You can equally call us on 080 65 79 6599. Yes, I'll explain further. And it says Ordinana, also known as Ordinala, Omenana, Ordinana, and Omenani, is the traditional cultural belief and the practice of the Igbo people of Southeast and Igbo people of South Nigeria. These terms, as used here in Igbo language, are synonymous with the traditional Igbo religious system, which was not considered separate from the social norms of ancient or traditional Igbo societies. Theoretical in nature, spirituality played a huge role in their everyday lives, although it has largely been, synthesized with Catholicism, and the indigenous belief system remains in strong effect among the rural, village, and diaspora populations of the Igbo. Ordinana can be found even in Haitian voodoo, Obe, and all of that. So Ordinana is a pantheistic and polytheistic faith, having a strong central deity at its head. All things spring from this deity, although a patron of other gods and spirits. These being Allah, Amadioha, Anyanwu, Ekwensu, Ikenga, exist in the belief system as it does in many other traditional African religions, and the lesser deities too. So there is also lesser spirits known as Abara or Alose, operate below the other gods and higher spirits. The lesser spirits represent natural forces. Abara as a divine forces, a force manifests as a separate Alose in the Igbo pattern, a concept of the eye of sun or God. Anyanwu Igbo. Anyanwu exists as a masculine and feminine solar deity which forms a part of the solar ventilation among the Nri Igbo in northern Igbo land. So Alosi are mediated by Dibia and other priests who do not contact the high god directly. So the meaning of Alosi, according to some scholars, is Alo Ose na Igbo. Alo Ose na Igbo. And we have Aloses. We have, native doctors who are taking care of them, who are, communicating with them at the end of the day. But Alo Opusigo na Igbo. Mba. Let's talk about it. Call us on 081 38 39 7740 or 081 39 25 6742 or 08065796599. As a matter of fact, we will begin to talk about, okay, alo say alo opusigo na Igbo. At the end of the day, you will see that no way. It is even getting worse day by day. The way it is that even the former governor of Anambra State is complaining, and we are talking about the P2B, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2023. P2B expressed deep, disappointment, when it comes to security. Said no one is spared. Also, now, no one is spared. The fact that I'm talking about it now is something that we must talk about. And he said that no one is spared. P2B laments rise in kidnapping. Kidnapping, mmadụ kidnap mmadụ n'ala Igbo. Ọ bụrụ alụ ka ọ bụ. Now, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023, Peter Obi, has expressed deep concern over the escalating rate of kidnapping and killings in Nigeria. Obi's remarks came on the heels of recent abductions, including the kidnapping of two Catholic Reverend sisters by unknown gunmen in Anambra State. Now, according to Obi, no one is currently spared from the dangerous wind of many kidnappings and killings blowing through many parts of the nation. He emphasized via X on Thursday. And the studies today now cover that now, Southeast, paid more when it comes to ransom, equal ransom of kidnapping. Non Southeast Kapogo na Nigeria nine. So no matter how you dislike the governor of Anambra State, Governor Charles Chukwu Masoludo, you will agree with him that this issue of native doctors now practice illicit practices, some of them now practice here is also, fueling the ebers of this insecurity in Anambra State and the Southeast as a whole. Yes, the reason why it is, very difficult for a lot of people to talk about it is that, abịakwa na n'ihe gbasara ụlọ aka, a lot of people get involved. A lot of people are getting involved. Now, you see, okay, you use some of these illicit practices, to get ahead in some things. And then, and when we say case could be or they can get exposed, so many people name. But the reason why we're talking about it is that we need to talk about, the security situation in Anambra State and how, this Omenan itself, or the practice itself, the illicit practice, or to some people say practice here illicitly, at the end of the day is affecting, the security situation in Anambra and Southeast in Nigeria. Now, when it comes to our practice as Igbo people, defining all of these things is very important. Now, in Ordinana, the Igbo people believe that each person has their own personal spiritual guardian called Chi or Mo, appointed to them before and at the time of their birth. The Chi remains with them for the rest of their lives on earth. A person's Chi is the personification of that individual's fate, which is credited for an individual's life's successes, misfortunes, and failures. The Igbo believe that their success is in life is determined by their chi and that no man can rise past the greatness of his or her own chi. In respect, the concept of chi is analogous to the concept of a guardian angel in Christianity, and maybe demon in the ancient Greek religion and the genius in ancient Roman religion. Culturally, people are seen as the creators or makers of their own destiny. The breath of life is the heart, Ubi. Chi can be masculine or feminine. A dibia can identify a person's chi through definition and all of that. So that's why, we are talking about it. Obu, like when it comes to, a particular dibia could also be talking to somebody about chi, and if the person is dubious, he could use that to lead the person into other things that is not supposed to be done in the first place. That's why the practice must be, looked into. Because no one ga from mmadụ na the first thing ọ ga na-agwa ya m ga-enyelu nkwa gị aka ịghọtago ka ime yahoo, m ga-enyenukwa gị aka ka ime nke a and all of that. Ihe niile a ọ bụ part of Igbo practices onye ọ bụ anyị na-ajụ on this edition of Street Report on ebe ọ na-adị 103.5 FM. We need to talk about it. Kedu ife kwesị ịbụ ihe a ga na-eme when it comes to asị na ihe a bụ practice of practice of omenala. And moving further, self, I think in as much as yes, the government is looking into all of this, the government is even supposed to look into it to the point of personal lives. Some of the things that is going on. You see, so a situation whereby a native doctor could give somebody some things and say, okay, cook with this and do this, give it to people, and this will be achieved and all of that. You see, it is getting beyond repair. And what the governor said, that he's trying to avoid we having a soulless society. And I'm telling you right now that is like it is like the soulless society is here already. Yes, before we continue on all of that, ihe gbasara omenala, otu o si wee dịla anyị mkpa as a people and what we must do to sanitize it, I will go for a short break again. When we come back, we'll continue on this. Stick around. I will be right back after this. EBEONADI 103.5 FM Ogidi presents Media Talent Hunt and Skill Acquisition Show. Are you an upcoming model, actor, rap, R&B, gospel, reggae, or high life musician? Are you trying to find your footing on social media? Do you want to earn money with talents and skills? Do not look any further. Sign up for EBEONADI 103.5 FM Media Talent Hunt and Skill Acquisition Show. Today, you will have the opportunity to learn and become an expert in video coverage, photography, film editing, music production, advertising and social media marketing, content creation, filmmaking, radio drama, magazine production, and many more. Register today at EBEONADI 103.5 FM Ogidi opposite Ogunike Boys inside European Residency Hotel Ogidi. For more information, call or WhatsApp 080 6579 6599. EBEONADI103.5 FM. Nabakowa production. Police for vigilante. Now my business. When I will tell you Ekezie radio drama, here we go. Akụkọ ihe Ekezie radio drama Ebigo Ghana Dialogue every Monday 8 o'clock p.m. with a repeat broadcast on Saturday 3 o'clock p.m. Now, EBEONADI 103.5 FM. If you know by finish your
Amara mi le wa di amo. Ko ko na ka do na ba ko na ni ko na e. Ke ka ku ke wala na ma wu na ya ma ule.
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on EBEONADI FM, who will, as the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be.
government.
Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets. In your community, Street report is here with hardcore journalists to get to the root of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin EZEANUMBA, EZEANUMBA the Force, every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on EBEONADI 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds in your face. On your Martin EBEONADI corner 24/7, 24/7.
We are right back on EBEONADI 103.5 FM, and this is a Street Report. I remain the one and only Martin EZEANUMBA, Ekezie, EZEANUMBA the First, the one that I call Metal. Still talking about some of the practices that is not even part of our Omenani, but today is considered Omenani, and the way it influenced our society, following the embers of insecurity in one way or the other. So we are talking about it. And let me still educate you more about the issue of the Ezeanyi. The increasing spiritual consciousness in Igbo land since the end of the Civil War has created conditions for the emergence of several cult groups. One of such cults is the Ezeanyi practice. It has, in recent times, gained more prominence. What started as a cult to serve the spiritual needs of the people has grown to include other interests. The cult's uniqueness, as the name literally implies, woman king, is that its membership is an exclusive, is exclusive reserved for women. This has raised a number of questions. Why this female, cultism? It is a counter to other male cults. Do the gods also recognize gender speciality in discharging certain spiritual functions? Those are the questions. Because if you know Igbo land properly, you should know that once we are talking about, serving the gods, we are talking about a male figure that will do so. Do the gods also recognize gender speciality in discharging certain spiritual functions? Is it possible in supposedly, society today, such as the Igbo people, to have a spiritual cult group that excludes the male folk? Is it part of, female empowerment? These questions have not been adequately addressed in the literature today. Therefore, in the study, in what we are doing today, we need to understand. There is Ezewai cult in Enugu Ezike, Obolo using a descriptive narrative techniques, the finding reveals that apart from claims of call to service, peer influence, economic interest, and social relevance, cultural revival is evident in the growing interest in when it comes to this issue of Ezewine called practice. But is it the practice of Igbo people? 08138397740 or 08139256742. You can equally call us on 08065796599. Onwe onye na-ekwu okwu na-asị na ihe gbasara ihe eze nwaanyị a na-awọchigo na most of ndị ọfọ ugbo ndị eze nwaanyị yọtago na agba n'ilo rinne. So I ajubazo onwe anyị ajụjụ kezi the place of Isonso, because when you talk about the practice of Igbo people, the tradition of Igbo people, we are talking about Isonso. Na ọ bụrụ ife niile ka na-eme onye bụ ihe abụ alụsị agha na-ekwu na alụkwụsị na Igbo. So how come? Because some people say about the tradition and all of that. In the Kwanya, people that they are not, doing it just the way it's we put opposite today. Anyway, let's hear from you right about now because you know if you nkata won nkata ndo okenye na obolo nkata na anyhow. So let's hear from you. Ka I know ihe now. Hello. Hello, yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, your name and location, please.
My name is Charity. I'm calling from Obinike.
Please go on. You know if I know till I know Oh, Obube, please call us back. We need to hear from you, most especially in case or two akosi CD or practice in Igbo. 08138397740 or 08139256742. No, I keep buying at 08065796599. And just like that, as a one you practice, you have to go a lot of things I na put today and I practice here. Abolo Igbo culture. You know, I stand here and I check only you sinamba na asikobo. Yeah, oh yeah, can you call the number 08138397740 or 08139256742 mobile 08065796599. Onye mere ihe gọvanọ Chukwumacha Soludo kwuru dị very important. Ka enebanye a lot of things anya because of late enwere even gods eji butesie from India, butesie from so many places. Dobia na Igbo si na practice an Igbo ndị gbara na-eme ha ncha na bụrụ culture. Now, another aspect of the Igbo culture, the very important, is the aspect of Ofo Nogu. That is a law of retributive justice, talking about law of karma. How many people now practice, Igbo tradition today? Can elote n'ọfọ dị mkpa? Because everybody na-ekwukwa okwu ọfọ, onye ọbụla na-ekwu na ya ji ọfọ, na ya ji ọfọ. Mana, onye me Morocco ji wee sị that ijuo nwoke ọ sị na ya ji ọfọ, ijuo nwaanyị, mana ọfọ ma onye ji ya on a very good day. Most times ị ga-afụ ndị na-achụ mmadụ ihe ọjọọ, ọ na-emekwa na ya ji ọfọ. Onye kidnap mmadụ o ji ọfọ. Onye je zuo mmadụ o ji ọfọ. Onye onye bụ ihe niile ahụ anyị na-ajụ. Now, Ofo vindicates anyone, that is wrongly accused of a crime as long as their hands are clean. It is only a person who is on the righteous side of Ofo Nogu that can call his name in prayer. Otherwise, such a person will face the wrath of the gods. So, the practice of Igbo people, you will be looking for justice all the time. So, kedu ka esi eme omenala? Aid, kidnapping, aid, for age when I such thing. Anyway, this is the stop. This is the spot where I call it a day on this particular edition of, Strict Report on EBEONADI103.5 FM. I remain the one and only Martin EFEANYICHUKWU Ekezie. EZEANUMBA the first, the one that I call metal. I have come to serve as the conscience of the society on this particular edition. And will give everything I talked about here, deep thought to transform our society because it's very important. That said, stick with EBEONADI103.5 FM. A lot is coming your way on this platform. Once it's 6 o'clock this evening, immediately after Angel News, there will be news and lots of other things coming your way. Stick with EBEONADI103.5 FM till we meet again. Have a lovely weekend. EBEONADI103.5 FM Ogidi presents Media Talent Hunt and Skill Acquisition Show. Are you an upcoming model, actor, rap, R&B, gospel, reggae, or high life musician? Are you trying to find your footing on social media? Do you want to earn money with talents and skills? Do not look any further. Sign up for EBEONADI103.5 FM Media Talent Hunt and Skill Acquisition Show. Today, you will have the opportunity to learn and become an expert in video coverage, photography, film editing, music production, advertising and social media marketing, content creation, filmmaking, radio drama, magazine production, and many more. Register today at EBEONADI103.5 FM Ogidi, opposite Ogunike Boys, inside European Residency Hotel Ogidi. For more information, call or WhatsApp 080-6579-6599. EBEONADI103.5 FM. Nababoa Production. Now my business is mine. When I would ever give Ekezie radio drama, Enrico. Ekezie radio drama, Enrico, every Monday, 8 o'clock p.m. with a repeat broadcast on Saturday, 3 o'clock
p.m. Now, EBEONADI103.5 FM.
Amara mi ile nwa dị amụ ụbọchị m na-aga n'obodo m na-amara akọ na ya na-erikọ n'anya nke ka dịkwa nke mụ na ana m ahụzikwu n'anya ma ọ bụ eziokwu
Ekwekwala ka akọrọ dị nke a akọrọ.
Okay, guys, thank you. Like, subscribe, and share. Right, hit the subscribe button right here. You rock. Check this out. It's on Amazon.com. It's a book author. Hip-Hop and Igbo Culture is the name, you know. Check it out by Martin Ekezie. Thank you so much, okay? You rock. Dalo. Ikusi kobo pasachi nwanne yi iti anya maka na akwụkwọ ni dabode daro.